Nobody warns men about the silence after 55, but what Socrates revealed centuries ago still haunts every man today. If you've ever felt it, you are not alone. Stay until the end, because this truth can change your life. And if you're new here, subscribe, because we talk about the battles every man feels, but almost nobody dares to speak about. Nobody prepares you for the silence after 55. Nobody warns you that one day the noise that filled your home will fade, and what remains is an emptiness that echoes louder than any sound. You notice it in small things first: the chair at the dinner table that stays empty, the coffee pot that never seems to brew enough for one, the television running in the background, not because you care about what's on, but because silence feels heavier than any bad news. The phone sits on the counter, almost mocking you. You glance at it once, twice, 3 times a day. Maybe it'll ring. Maybe one of your kids will call, or an old friend will check in. But hours pass, and all you hear is the ticking of the clock on the wall. Tick, 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 reminding you that another day is slipping by. You wake up earlier than you used to, not because you have somewhere to be, but because your body just doesn't sleep the way it once did. And so you sit, staring out the window at the street outside. The world keeps moving, neighbors rushing to work, kids waiting for the school bus, but you feel like you've stepped off the track. Life is happening out there, while you sit here, watching. And in the quiet, a question sneaks in, one that most men will never say out loud. Is this it? Is this how the rest of my life will feel? It's not weakness to ask that. It's human. You spent decades working, building, providing, and then one day the job ends. Retirement, they call it, but what it really does is strip away a part of your identity. You go from being needed, respected, relied upon, to wondering if anyone even notices you're still here. Your children grow up. They visit less and less, not because they don't love you, but because they're swallowed by their own busy lives. You tell yourself you understand. You tell yourself it's normal. But it doesn't make the distance hurt any less. And friends? They disappear too. Some move away. Some get sick. Some simply fade out of touch, as if the bond that once felt unbreakable wasn't as strong as you thought. One by one, the circle gets smaller, until it's just you, sitting in that chair, staring at the same walls, listening to the same silence. If this feels familiar, hear me. You are not the only one. Thousands, millions of men face this same battle every single day. They don't talk about it, not to their wives, not to their children, not even to their closest friends. Because we were raised to keep it in, to be strong, to pretend nothing hurts. But silence is not strength. Silence is the invisible enemy that wears you down from the inside. It doesn't shout, it whispers, it doesn't hit you all at once. It drips day after day, until one morning you wake up and wonder how you got here, wondering when the man you used to be disappeared. And I'm here to tell you something you might need to hear right now. You are not weak for feeling this. You are not broken. This is part of being human, part of being a man who gave so much of himself for so long that now, without those roles, you're left asking, what now? The silence after 55 is real. It sits with you in the living room. It follows you into bed at night. It eats away at your mornings, and unless you face it, it only grows stronger. But here's the truth. Silence may be powerful, but it is not unbeatable. How loneliness creeps. In loneliness doesn't arrive at your door like a storm. It doesn't knock loudly or announce itself with thunder. It creeps in quietly, like dust settling on a shelf, like rust spreading on a tool that hasn't been used. One day, you look around and realize it's already here. At first, you might not even notice it. You tell yourself you're just enjoying some peace and quiet. You convince yourself that you're fine, that after years of noise and responsibility, you deserve a little calm. And for a while, It feels true. But slowly, almost invisibly, that quiet begins to change. It stops being rest. It becomes emptiness. Loneliness is like rust. It doesn't care how strong you once were. The sharpest blade, the toughest piece of iron, left alone in a damp place, will eventually weaken. No matter how much life you've lived, no matter how many battles you've fought, isolation can make even the strongest man feel fragile. You can feel it in your body. Days without conversation make you irritable. Your energy dips. The things that once excited you, a walk, a project, even a simple meal, feel like chores. You start sleeping more, not because you're tired, but because sleep feels like an escape. You can feel it in your mind too. Thoughts circle endlessly, small worries becoming bigger in the silence. You replay regrets, things you wish you'd said, moments you wish you could go back and change. The past grows louder, while the future feels smaller. And here's the truth most men don't realize. Loneliness isn't just about sadness. It's a real danger. It changes your health. Studies show it raises blood pressure, weakens your immune system, increases the risk of heart problems. It makes your mind slower, foggier, less sharp. It can even shorten your life, as damaging as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. But loneliness is tricky. It disguises itself. It whispers things in your ear that sound logical. Don't bother anyone. No one wants to hear from you. It's better to keep to yourself. And so you pull back further. You cancel small plans. You stop answering calls. You tell yourself people are busy. Before you know it, the silence has taken control. Think of it like this. Imagine a house that once was filled with light. Every day, little by little, the curtains close. One by one, the windows are shut. And slowly the house grows darker until you can barely remember what sunlight felt like. That's what loneliness does inside you. It dims the light. But here's the part you need to hold on to. Loneliness does not have to win. You don't have to wait for someone to come and knock on your door. You don't have to wait for family or friends to rescue you. Because the first step, the most powerful step, is one you can take yourself. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's as simple as starting a conversation with the neighbor you always wave to but never really talk with. Sometimes it's walking to the same cafe every morning until the barista learns your name. Sometimes it's picking up that old guitar or brush or tool you haven't touched in years and letting it remind you of who you are. Loneliness thrives in silence, but the moment you act, the moment you break that silence, even in the smallest way, the rust begins to fall away. And maybe right now you're thinking, that's easier said than done. And you're right, it is hard, because the longer loneliness has been with you, the heavier it feels. But remember this, rust may spread, but so does light. One open curtain, one open door, one step outside. It's enough to begin the reversal. Loneliness is patient. It waits. It seeps in like water through a crack. But you are stronger than you think. You have already faced storms bigger than this, and while loneliness wants you to believe you are powerless, the truth is you hold the match that can light the room again. How to take back control. Loneliness may be powerful, but it is not unbreakable. The truth is, you don't need someone else to rescue you. You don't need to wait for a phone call, or for the doorbell to ring, or for someone to notice the empty chair at your table. You can take the first step yourself, and that step doesn't mean weakness. It means reclaiming your strength. Think back to the man you were when you were younger, the skills you had, the passions that once lit you up inside. Maybe it was fixing things in the garage. Maybe it was playing an instrument or fishing or working with your hands. Those abilities didn't vanish. They're still inside you, waiting. Loneliness tells you they're gone. But they're not. Picking up that old tool or that old guitar or even a book you once loved can spark something inside you, a reminder that there's still a man with purpose here, and purpose is oxygen. Without it, the days feel heavy. With it, the days feel lighter, more alive. But purpose doesn't only live in the big things, it lives in the smallest connections. Start simple. Say hello to your neighbor. Ask the cashier how their day is going. Visit the same park bench every morning until the regulars start to recognize you. Tiny moments of human connection can stitch life back together. Because here's a secret. The body is a bridge. Movement itself creates energy and opens doors. A walk through your neighborhood is more than just exercise. It's a chance to breathe, to see faces, to feel the sun on your skin. Joining a group, even something as simple as a walking club, a gardening group, or a class at the community center, is not asking for help. It's showing up for yourself, and if your body feels slower now, that's fine. Start small. 5 minutes outside, 10. Stretching in the morning, a little at a time. The point isn't to be the man you were at 30. The point is to keep moving forward as the man you are now. Loneliness wants you to believe your best years are behind you, but that's a lie. You are not done. There is still laughter you haven't heard, still conversations waiting to be had, still moments that can surprise you. But none of them will come if you let silence win. You have to choose to open the door, and don't let pride hold you back. Reaching out, starting again, building connections. This is not weakness. This is courage. It takes more strength to face the silence than to ignore it. It takes more strength to walk into a room alone and sit with strangers than to stay in the safety of your living room. It takes more strength to try again than to give up. Remember this. Every man after 55 feels the pull of the silence, but not every man decides to fight back. That's what sets the strong apart. Not muscles, not money, not the past, but the decision to say, I will not let loneliness have the last word. So start small. One conversation, one walk, one habit, and let those small sparks grow into light. Loneliness is strong, but you are stronger. The silence may sit in your house tonight, but it does not own you. The first step is to stop pretending it doesn't exist. Look it in the eye, acknowledge it, and then, slowly but surely, take back your life. Because the truth is simple. You are still here. You are still breathing. And as long as you are here, there is more to live, more to give, more to discover. When Socrates spoke about regret and the examined life, he wasn't just talking about philosophy. He was warning men about this very silence that comes with age. Because the truth is, the weight you feel after 55 is not just about time passing. It's about purpose, about connection, about meaning. And here's what you need to hear. It is never too late to rewrite your story. The world will try to convince you that your best days are behind you, that you should just sit quietly and fade away. But that's a lie. You are still alive. You still have wisdom that others need. You still have fire that can light the way for someone else. The silence wants to trap you, but silence can also be broken with one word, one step, one act of courage. So I'm asking you, man to man, don't carry this weight alone. Speak in the comments. Tell your story, because when you do, another man out there will realize he's not the only one. That's how we fight back against loneliness. Together, with honesty, with brotherhood. And if you felt even a piece of this message, subscribe. Not because I'm chasing numbers, but because this is where we talk about the battles most men hide, the ones you've been carrying in silence. Here, you're not invisible. Here, you're not forgotten. Remember, loneliness is strong, but you are stronger.